Hey everybody, Scout Crafty here again. It's Friday. Well, for me it's Wednesday, but I know you've been a little bit stressed out this week. It's been a tough week for a lot of you, and I'm here to tell you not to be stressed out. Do not let this get to you. Don't be stressed out. You have to be fluid. Life is a game of chess, okay? And every time something happens that's out of your control, it's like the other person making a move on the board. You just got to learn, you got to think about it and then make your appropriate move in response. So don't stress it out. Everything happens for a reason. We're in a good place, and you're in a good place because we're here. We're down the shop and we got some cool stuff to talk about. So let's get to it. Today, a good friend of the show by the name of Steve C. had asked, he says, how come you always got a piece of wood? If you ever notice, I always have a piece of wood up on the drill press table. He's like, why is that there? Maybe you can explain it. And I said, that'd be a good subject to cover because I never talked about it before. So let's get right to it. We're at one of my favorite tools, probably one of my most used tools in the shop is the drill press. And I just love the drill press. Now, when you look at the drill press table, that's a cast iron table. And you can see the mill marks here where it's milled flat. These things are fantastic. Now, what happens is on a lot of older drill presses, especially if you have different operators or operators that really don't know any better, what you'll see is you'll see a half moon line of all peck holes, and that's where somebody had the table offset, they were drilling something, they went through and they wound up hitting the table and making a hole. As you can see, in the 20-something years I've had this table, I made two mistakes on this table. I think one was here and one was here. But what I did, this is where the OCD comes in. Because I was so upset about that, and I said, how can I be so stupid? What I did is I put opposite holes, so exactly using a caliper, they're exactly spaced the same apart. So it doesn't, so it looks like they were there on purpose instead of just having a, I don't know. Anyway, so you don't want any holes on your table, okay? Now, so what you do is anytime you're going to drill something, you always put a board over here and you drill whatever you're going to drill. If you were drilling another piece of wood, you would lower the table down and you would drill through this piece of wood into the hole, okay? And here. Now, this is where your drill stop comes in handy, because first thing you want to do, anytime you're going to use the drill press or anytime you move the table, always make sure this hole is under your drill, you know, under where your bit would be. Second thing you would do is then you're going to lock down the table so it don't move on you, okay? So now it's not somewhere else. Now the table's locked down. You don't have to worry about the drill bit biting into your table. So, but it's always good to have a piece of wood here because this will always stop tear out. And I'll give you an example of what tear out is and why a piece of wood really helps. The reason I always have some kind of piece of wood, scrap wood on top of here is to minimize tear out. And to demonstrate what tear out is, I have a piece of wood here that we're going to drill a hole in. I'm going to drill one right here. You can see that the drill bit is set up to go right through the middle of the hole. We're going to put the piece of wood and drill that hole. Okay, we drilled the hole. You can see here, there's the going in hole. And now look at going out. That's called tear out. You see that? I pushed, because there was no backboard there, you see the terrible hole it makes on the back. Now we're going to drill a hole over here using a backer board, just any piece of scrap over here. We're going to hold this down, drill a hole. I'm going to show you the difference of what the hole looks like on the exit. Okay, we drilled a hole. Here's the inside going in. And look at that, look at the difference between those two holes. A backer board makes all the difference. And it's the same thing with metal. You know, people think that if you're drilling metal, you don't need a backer board. It does the same thing. It minimizes tear out. So another thing is, you know, it's always good to have, to get into use of using a backer board and always leave one on the drill press table. So anytime I'm drilling something, I'll always have a scrap piece of wood, like this would be now, on this table, put whatever I'm drilling on here and drill through it onto the wood. And I'll never have to worry about making more peck holes into my table. And last up, to me, the most important feature of a drill press is the quill stop over here. And to operate that, the best thing to do is, here's your scrap piece of wood. You come down, so it's just, the drill bit will just break the surface of where you want it to come down. You hold it here, and then you take your quill stop and bring it down like that. Now, that's as far as the drill can go, so you never have to worry about pecking into your table. and just leave it like that. And this way, if some new user comes to the drill press, they'll be able to drill down through whatever, and they won't be able to go into the table. The quill stop, your best feature on a drill press. Next up, I blame my friend Ben. You know him as Tool Addict on over in the UK. I blame him for buying this wrench, which I had no business buying, because it's I don't buy collectible tools. I like to buy common tools and make them collectible. Let me show you my dilemma. And here it is. Thanks to you, Ben, I went out and spent $50 for a $5 wrench. But because they're so rare and I always wanted one, I said, you know, if he could do it, what the heck, so can I. Anyway, this is you've probably seen one of these. You've probably seen these on eBay. They always go for big money, $100, you know. This is a GM Co. Long Island City, New York, it says under it, and it's a USA Unbreakable. You see that? Unbreakable, which we all know that if I put this in a vise and put some torque on it, I could bust this in no time. So you could tell by the casting, right? Unbreakable. But what's interesting, I like multi-tools, right? Let me clean it up a little bit and discuss the cool things that this does. Okay, here we are. The wrench is all cleaned up. Obviously, there's only a few pieces to the wrench. You know, if we could take this pin looks almost like it's stainless steel, but look how nice and smooth that is. And, you know, there's a big dilemma with this. First, let me show you this piece of spring steel, because somebody might get this wrench and look at this video because they're missing this piece. If you're missing this piece of spring steel, this is an integral part of the wrench, and it, you know, and let me show you the dimensions here. That's why I have this ruler here. I'm going to put it here at 1. You can see how long it is. Just take a look at that. If you have to replicate one, that's the length of it, and those are the 2 bends you see here. And this is the length of the bend here, you could see, and you could zoom in on that and whatnot, and if you had to. And there's the curve, you know. So how this works is, obviously there's a little slit in there, and this spring gets placed into that slit, and that gives you the spring action. Once it's in there nice and tight, you can slide this back onto the wrench here like this, and it's very interesting how this works, and I'll show you why. See that? Now it acts as a quick acting wrench, and you know, this is what kills me about this. When you look at this here, you could see that how nice it would be with color, and those letters would be so easy to take the paint. I mean, this is every restorer's dream. See, it says Long Island City, New York, and it is quick acting. Like I said, the spring keeps the jaw. You can just pop it in any way you want, and then you can make your final adjustments here, and it won't slip. It don't rattle or anything. It's got a little hammer on the end. It's got a little nail puller here, and now you can see my dilemma of why. What I would, ever since I saw this wrench, I said, boy, that wrench is screaming for some. Anytime there's a recess in a wrench, it's, and especially with the letters are so high, it would be so easy to do in such a, and I mean, what color would you do that in, you know? I mean, you could do it in classic black. You could do it in any kind of color, and then you could polish. Obviously, this would all be polished along with the hammerhead, but it's a collectible wrench, and this is, you know, I don't usually do collectible wrenches. It's just not my nature, but I'm just dying to do. I said, man, this, but look how nice it looks. Look how nice that works. When you push this like this and slide it up and down, it's like a quick adjusting, you know, and then you can also adjust it this way, you know. So what do you think of this? Pretty interesting, right? Like I said, these are crazy collectible. I don't know why, but just thought I would get your opinion. Next up, a few videos ago, a good friend of the show by the name of John from Hawaii, he asked me, he says, is that a Miller's Falls number 100 in the background? He picked it out, and sure enough it is. And let me talk a little bit about Miller's Falls Buck Rogers line. This is for John in Hawaii. Let's check it out. Okay, this is the tool that John was asking about. This is a Miller's Falls number 100. It's from their Buck Rogers line, what we like to call. And basically what it was, in the 1950s, Miller's Falls put out, you know, the end of hand tools was approaching very quickly. People weren't using braces and hand and egg beater drills and things like that. So they made one last push to put out these modern looking tools, and we call them the Buck Rogers line. They were made with aluminum, they were made with tenite, which was this beautiful finished red high density plastic that they used, and they had these modern tools, and they made everything. They made braces, they made planes, they made drills, they made everything, and they've become wildly popular with collectors. Again, you know, this one was sent to me by a good friend of the show by the name of Jim Styles. You know him as Mad Styles. And if you haven't seen his channel, he has a great channel. He does restorations. He's also restoring a Volkswagen Bug. I had a video of me restoring this. Some of the footage got corrupted. I think I still have bits and pieces I'll show you. But what happened was this had a little bit of a wear on here. You know, and this is usually it's a nickel coated, but it was a little worn. So I made this because I remember my grandfather had one that was just like this, and I took it down to brass over here. But these things work fantastic. I'll do a little demonstration on how it works. Basically, the bits are stored in the handles. You have a little detent here. You pull this down. You turn it to whatever number bit you want. So if we wanted number 4. We would turn it to number 4, it clicks in, and out pops number 4 bit. You know, that holds 8 bits, and it's just a wonderful little tool. And again, Jim, thank you so much. I had it for a while, and I actually use this. I use this all the time. Let me show you how this is used. Okay, we're going to try to drill a little hole. This is some 1/4" ply. I have here a number 4 bit, and you can see, like I said, this was that straight fluted bit. You put it into the splines here, and you just rotate a little bit, and it'll slide right in. And you tighten it down a little bit, and there you go. You're ready. Now, it is a push drill, so you would put it onto the area you want, and you would just push it like this a couple times. Let the drill do the work, and you could see it goes through it very easily, makes a nice hole. It works. These things work really good. They're great for starting, for screw holes, things like that. You could see how quickly you could drill a few holes in here rather than getting out the power drill. You just take this out, and you make some nice holes. Look at that. I'm telling you, these things are great. They still hold up today. Okay, here's some of the footage of the drill before I cleaned it up. It was in great shape. It's just that, you know, it was used, and you could see here the plastic and the aluminum had some scuffing to it. These also use these straight flute bits, and they have a spline on the back that is really secure when you put it into the chuck. I really enjoy these. And so here is, like I said, the footage, and we took it over to the fiber wheel, and we're able to get all the scratches. If you look real close here, you could see where the scratches were before and what the fiber wheel will do to get rid of the scratches. It does a great job on aluminum. And then like I said, the brass was already worn a little bit, so I decided to take it all the way down to brass. The nickel finishes really are not durable as much as I wish they would be. So if ever you get one with a nickel finish, be very careful because they do wear off very quickly. So you can see these are really still useful today, and they have all different types, you know, that are made like this. But I just always like this model because, like I said, my grandfather had one, and I just like the way it looks. I like the way it operates, it feels. And again, Jim, thanks so much, because you don't usually find these too often. These are pretty available, but especially some of the other Buck Rogers tools, they become extremely collectible today. Okay, and last up, I know a lot of people have asked me about painting tools and things like that. How do I prep the tools to get the finish to stick? Now, I was lucky enough to see on YouTube, there's a master craftsman who has a channel. He hasn't put up videos in a long time. I've been subscribed for a long time, but his name is Dan Gelbart. And Dan has some, the knowledge that man has is just incredible. And he did a video. He did a bunch of videos, but he did this one video on paint prep. And if it's a master class in paint prep, and if you ever are going to paint metal, I urge you to look at this. Now, we've all done the same thing. We wiped it down with acetone, wipe it down with metal prep. Nothing matters until you see this video. It's not long. Guy does a great presentation, but after you watch this, you'll know all the secrets I do. And my secret is Comet, and you'll see why. But check out his video. I'll have a link in the description. It's Friday. You got all weekend to look at it. The guy, it's worth, you will see it's worth watching. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great weekend. Take care now. Bye-bye.